So, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh and good day to everyone. I am Arcaida Abbas Jani from Bachelor of Science in Secondary Education, major in Filipino. And we are the group 3 which is assigned to discuss the chapter 3. I am going to discuss the Thorndike theory and Watson tool. So, sa theory naman ni Edward Thorndike, ito naman siya yung theory of connectionism. In Edward L. Thorndike theory, he gave us the original SM framework of behavioral psychology, and more than 100 years ago, he wrote a textbook entitled Educational Psychology. He is the first one to use this term. He explained that learning is the result of association forming between stimuli and response. Such an association or habits become strengthened or weakened by the nature and frequency of S and R pairing. The model of SR theory was trial and error learning in which certain responses comes to be repeated more than other because of reward. The main principle of connectionism, like all behavioral theory, was that learning could be adequately explained without considering any unobservable internal state. So, sa theory naman ni Thorndike, nagpo-focus siya sa behavioral ng isang tao, like yung stimulus and response. So, parang sinasabi dito na Thorndike's theory, a connection state that learning has taken place when a strong connection or bond between stimulus and response is formed. So, nagkakaroon ng strong bond or connection ang isang behavior ng isang tao kung mayroon siyang stimulus and response. Diba yung stimulus, yun na yung reason kung bakit may response. So, he come with the 3 primary laws. So, may laws naman si Thorndike in accordance to this stimuli response theory. The first law of Thorndike is the law of effect. So, according to this law, the stimulus, the connection between stimulus and response is strengthened kapag may positive reward. Kapag naman yung stimulus and response, naghihina siya pag may negative or punishment na consequence. For instance, in the positive consequence, kunwari, ang isang estudyante. So, ang stimulus dun is nag-study siya, ang stimuli. Pag nasa-study siya, ang magiging response niya is makakapasa siya. Yun yung positive reward. So, sa negative naman, kunwari, ng isang tao, hindi siya, parang kabaliktaran niya. Ang band ng stimulus and response is naghihina. Kunwari, hindi na nagsa-study yung estudyante na yun, kaya siya bumabagsak. Yun na yung positive and negative na consequence. The second law of Thorndike is the law of exercise. This tells us that the more the SR, stimulus and response, bond is practiced, the stronger it will become. Practice makes perfect seem to be associated with this. However, like the law of effect, the law of exercise also had to revise when the Thorndike found that practice without feedbacks does not necessarily enhance performance. So, dito naman sa law of exercise, according to ang pinaka-main na example naman dito is, ang sabi kasi dito, tell us na the more S or R is bond or practices, the more na nagsistrengthen yung connection ng dalawang yun. So, for example, yung practice makes perfect. So, di ba, pag nagpa-practice ng isang tao, ang result niya is gumagaling siya. So, yun na yung law of exercise. So, kunwari, may exercise siyang ginagawa, or may practice siyang ginagawa. So, yun na yung kunwari, nagre-review siya, or nagpa-practice siya sa kanyang script so that ang response niya doon, ang consequence niya doon is mas gagaling siya or hindi siya babagsak sa grade niya. So, revise naman siya ni Thorndike na kapag daw ang kahit daw na nag-practice na yung isang tao in another revised version naman ni Thorndike, na ang sabi naman niya na kahit na nag-practice ang isang tao is kailangan pa rin ng may feedback. So therefore, practice makes perfect, pero kailangan pa rin ng feedback para malaman mo kung ano yung mali mo or ano yung tama sa ginawa mo. So, the last law of Thorndike is the law of readiness. So, in this states that more readiness the learner has to respond to the stimulus, the stronger will be bond between them. So, when the person is ready to respond, the stimulus is not meant to respect. So, it is annoying to the person. So, ito naman siya yung response, annoying. Ang sabi naman, ang law of readiness naman, yun na yung sa behavior ng isang tao kung paano siya magiging ready. So, ang example niya dito is, kunwari, ang isang teacher, pinasagot niya yung estudyante niya sa harap ng kaklase ng estudyante na yun, which is tinanong niya, pero yung estudyante na yun hindi siya nakasagot. Parang may side na maanoy siya, pero kasi wala siyang law of readiness. So ang magandang way dito, dapat ang ginawa ng teacher, nag-ask siya ng question, and then bago niya ipasagot yung estudyante na yun, which is improve to masyado na question, kailangan magbigay siya ng 5 minutes gap or 5 minutes para mag-isip yung estudyante na yun. Kasi yun yung sabi sa law of readiness. Sa behavior ng isang tao, yung response natin, hindi maganda yung response niya kasi hindi ready yung estudyante niya. So, there are 4 principles derived from Thorndike's theory. The first one is learning requires both practice reward or law or effect exercises. So, learning, na nagigain natin yung learning kapag may exercise tayo na ginawa and then may rewards after that exercises. So, second, a series of SR connection can be chained together if they are belong to the same action consequence. So, kunwari, magigain siya kung may law of readiness siya. Yun na yung sinasabi na law of readiness. So, ang pangatlo naman, transfer of learning occurs because of previously encountered situations. So, nagkaka-transfer tayo ng learning, natatransfer natin yung learning natin kapag because of the situation that we are experiencing. So, kunwari, ikaw, kung ano yung situation na nangyari sa'yo, dun ka makakakuha ng learnings mo. So, the fourth one is intelligence is a function of number of connection learned. So, that's all for Thorndike's theory. So, the next theory is about John Watson theory. So, John B. Watson was the first American psychologist to work with Pavlov's ideas. He was too initially involved in animal studies, then later became involved in human behavior research. He considered that the humans are born with a few reflexes and the emotional reaction of love and rage. All other behavior is learned through stimulus response, association through conditioning. He believed in the power of conditioning so much that he said that if he is given a dozen of healthy infants, he can make them into anything you want them to. Basically, through things, stimulus response connection through conditioning. So, dito naman sa theory naman ni Watson, ang fino-focus naman niya is behavior. Parang nag-work siya sa idea ni Pavlov, which is yung animal theory. So sa kanya naman, pinag-aralan niya muna yung animal theory bago yung behavior ng isang tao. Parang pinagsama niya yung behavior ng tao, pati pinag-compare niya yung behavior ng isang animal and tao. In Watson theory, he believed that a person have few reflexes or emotional love and rage. So, kung may love ang isang tao, meron din siyang galit na nararamdaman. So, isa sa ginawang halimbawa naman ni Watson ay yung kapag daw binigyan siya ng dozen of infant, ang gagawin niya, he can do whatever he want to that infant. Parang may magagawa siya para kung ano yung gusto niya na maging kinakalabasan ng infant na yun is mangyayari. Pero through the connection of stimulus and response. So, in accordance to Watson's theory, he made an experiment through Albert, a young child, and a white rat. So, Watson applied classical conditioning in his experiment concerning Albert, a young child, and a white rat. In the beginning, Albert was not afraid of the rat, but Watson made a sudden loud noise each time Albert touched the rat. Because Albert was frightened by the loud noise, he soon became conditioned to fear and avoid the rat. Later, the child's response was generalized to other small animals. Now, he was also afraid of small animals, so Watson then extinguished or made the child unlearn fear by showing the rat without the loud noise. So, ito na yung sabi ng ginawang experiment ni Watson, like, hindi naman takot yung si Albert, the young child, sa rat. Pero, one time, ang ginawa ni Watson, while hinahawakan ng baby, yung rat na yon, gumawa ng loud voice si Watson, and then dun na natakot yung si Albert, the young child. So, nung natakot na siya, parang after natakot siya, ang naging response niya sa stimulus na yun, di ba ang stimulus, yung ginawang loud noise ni Watson. So, ang naging response niya dun is naging frightened, natatakot na siya dahil sa loud noise na yun. So, i-generalize na lang ni Albert na anything na mahawakan niyang small na animals, ikinakatakutan niya. So, yun na yung ginawa because of that, nagkakaroon ng unlearned fear si Albert through the experiments of Watson. Yun na yung hinawakan lang yung first na hindi naman natatakot si Albert sa hayop or sa white rat na yun. Pero nung gumawa na ng voice si Watson, parang nagkaroon na siya ng idea or nagkaroon na siya ng fear sa isang rat or sa white rat na yun na hindi na niya na ulit hahawakan ulit. Parang nagkaroon na siya ng generalized na idea na anything na mahawakan niya na small animals, kakatakutan niya kasi magkakaroon ng loud noises. So, in this theory of John B. Watson, we may know or learn why are the people have phobias or fear. Malalaman talaga natin na ano yung reason bakit nagka-fear ang isang tao na yon. So, parang sa theory na yun is maganda masyado kasi nalaman natin kung bakit natatakot ang isang tao. Bakit nagkaroon ng phobia ang isang tao. So, that is for my discussion, and I hope you learn something from my report. That's all. Thank you. And again, I am Marcaida Abbas Jani from Bachelor of Science Secondary Education, major in Filipino. Thank you.